Welcome, you guys. I'm so happy to have my UAL family. Welcome to my home. Oh, it all works together. We're going to open an entire store of liquidation. That's all we're going to be. And we're going to call it United Apparel Liquidators. And I said, that's not a very cool name.
We talk about this often.
And he said, that way we'll never forget what we do. We'll never forget who we are. We're liquidators.
Thank you guys for being here. It's going to be fun.
Here we are reminiscing, enjoying, looking back over 41 years for UAL, 50 years for Bill and Mel together. Wow. And it's been a long, hard, but rewarding trip. Stephanie, as the creative director of UAL, over 2-decade employment with us, how would you describe UAL?
Original, creative, artsy. A lot of you watching, follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, and you've maybe never even visited a UAL. So each of our stores is so different from one another.
I'll start with the people who like it but don't know how do I get a handle on this? And the thing that I say is buy pieces that will last you a lifetime and change them every year by adding a turtleneck or a V-neck or whatever. But the point is, I have pieces, like I say, 15 years old. I think the oldest thing I have in my closet is a pair of boots that they're 30 years old for sure. And they're never going to go out of style.
Right, you'll have those forever.
What are some of your favorite designers that UAL carries?
Oh, gosh. Obviously, I like Etro. I've gotten into the shirt with the head on the front is Plan C. And I love their products. I don't know who designed this. The label's gone, but I had to snag that when I went into the store. And again, you don't get things because you need them. You get things because you love them. And then you will wear them as many chances as you can. Now, in the very beginning of this, I said my advice to any customer is to buy pieces that you will wear all the way through your life. It also helps if you stay the same size. That's a good incentive. So I just thought, let me show a few pieces that right now, and some go way back, are current in my wardrobe. I mean, is Prada, just a list.
Yeah, how about that?
This was $3,680, and we had it for $773. Now, that's a lot to pay, $770, but you're getting a $4,000.
And you'll have it forever.
You'll have it forever.
You guys.
This dress was one of, now how classy is this dress? Marnie. We still carry Marnie.
And what's funny is this literally, it could be in our store
today. It could be in our store
but
today.
But you've had it for like 10 years,
I've
12,
had it
maybe 14 years.
I know. And that's
great.
what it's all about.
We've got some old photographs for y'all, but look at Melody. I mean, gosh, who
I know
trust
exactly what outfit that was. It was Norman Todd.
What a beautiful outfit.
Yeah.
You could wear that today if you'd
Of
kept
course.
it. So you know that I know, of course, so much about UAL, but for everyone watching out there, we want to know how it all started.
Well, the association of Bill and Melody started about 10 years before we opened UAL. And we had a store in Pensacola, Florida called Bill's Melody. And we were young and in love and played too hard for about 10 years until we went broke. Bill and I got married in the store on a Sunday.
I just love that.
I mean, and this is so funny. My brother gave me away, but we had a lingerie section, and there we are with lingerie hanging over the the walk down the aisle. Oh, there we were toasting. So, you know, here's what it is. This is what it is. We have eaten, slept, and breathed our business together for this many years, for 41 years. In 1980, we left Pensacola and came to Hattiesburg, Mississippi to start a new life. We would base there and then drive around and try and find a good location. We drove, I'll never forget driving into Hattiesburg on Highway 49. Bill looked at me and he said, "We're coming here." Because Hattiesburg was so wanting for good fashion, they received us with open arms. They were so excited, and I was so excited to be there. I would work in the store, Bill would do the buying. He would travel even to New York, and I wasn't able to go because I had to run the store. But the one thing that we kept in mind was always trying to have a look that people could appreciate, but I would just tell them, this is what you need. And they would respond. After we opened in Hattiesburg, we opened a second store in Slidell, Louisiana.
I never got to go to that store.
Well, right, and we did it as kind of, it was close, and it was right at the interchange, so I could drive from Hattiesburg to Slidell and back, you know, because that's what I did. I traveled back and forth. I did it, everything myself. And then we got to Slidell and opened on the beach, but
How did y'all end up in Louisiana? Because that's where I come in the picture.
yes, you did.
But how did you end up
Well,
there?
you remember
well,
that
you were living in Slidell.
we were
yes,
living
so-
in Slidell, and if you remember, I said that was the crossroads, the interstate
Right.
crossroads. So you could get there at that crossroads and go straight to Slidell, or take a left and go into New Orleans. So it was all, you know, in the area, and it was kind of easy to get to them.
So let me ask you this. So how did it go from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Slidell, Louisiana, to what I loved so much, and when I came to UAL, was Metairie?
We had a 10,000 square foot store in Metairie. It
And I
didn't
feel so bad for those of you who never got to visit it. I'm sorry I interrupted.
People still talk about it.
It was just amazing.
Two
Can you imagine a
floors.
2-story UAL that was so huge? It had like 20 jewelry cases.
Oh, it
and-
was just huge.
Yes.
And we had beautiful things. But sadly, as things went on, Stephanie mentioned a minute ago, I don't know if it was on camera or not, about Baton Rouge. We opened in Baton Rouge. We've opened different spots, but we didn't stay everywhere. Now, where is that store? Along came Katrina. And when Katrina hit, we only had 2 stores. At that point, we were in
No,
between.
Were we only 2?
Yes, we had Metairie, which was 10,000 square
Yeah.
feet, and the
And
original store, Hattiesburg.
Okay, you're right. We had just closed Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Okay.
And the roof blew off, and the rain came in, and it ruined everything that was on the floor. We lost it all. So Katrina really almost ruined us. I mean, we lost that big store. Even the Hattiesburg store had a piece of the roof and the front window was gone. But Maggie, who I've mentioned before, lived close there. And
A lot of you know Maggie.
you know Maggie, and she and her husband-to-be and her father got on the roof and fixed it. We were the first store in Hattiesburg to reopen after Katrina. But Metairie was a total loss. But people came from all around.
Yeah.
And I remember, I would say, oh, how did you fare? And they would say, I lost my wedding pictures, and I had my grandmother's china, it's gone. And do you remember that coat I bought? That's gone. They would describe garments that were so important to them.
Yeah.
And then we found our Charters Street location in the French Quarter. The idea of being in an urban area, we had always tried to be in very off the beaten path. But here we were in a tourist town, and there were people flocking in to help New Orleans. Movie stars moved there, and so we said, let's find a place that is like New Orleans, that has great locals, hip locals, and it's a tourist destination. Nashville, Tennessee. So, we found this store, we opened in Nashville, and that really opened so many doors for us and really changed our lives. We were discovered by a New York Times reporter. His wife discovered our store in Austin and then reported back to him in New York, you gotta see this store. And he was like, oh, yeah. And they were visiting in Nashville. And she said, that's the store I told you about. And to this day, he reminds me, he came in and he said, I'd never seen any store that felt so exciting and happy. The employees were happy, the customers were happy, and he said even the UPS and the mailmen, they came in, they were happy. He said this was not like a normal retailer.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do a story about us. And every day, I would be the only employee in there. I would, if there wasn't anybody in, I would steam and tag, but the customers all knew when they came it was going to be me. And I have, to this day, relationships that go back to 41 years to the people that shopped with me.
I love that, because there are times when I've been in the store, especially in Hattiesburg, where you have the grandmother, the daughter, the granddaughter, sometimes even the great, and they're all
three generations or four generations, they're all there, and it's a beautiful thing. And so many of our friends shopped there and stayed with us all these years. Also, I should say that to this day, 41 years later, a lot of our employees we mine out of Hattiesburg. Because there's a college there, and people, Hattiesburg is just such a nice, sweet town, and a lot of good people there. And honestly, the president of our company came out of that store. The executive that runs all the stores, Haley, yes, and Maggie has hired her. Maggie is the president. She started with us really when she was 16 years old.
In the year 2000, Maggie and I both started the same year.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Anyway, she's the president. She hired several of the employees that have gone on in the company. And we have a total of 75 employees now throughout the chain.
Which I know at times we've even had like 90.
90, yes, during the
fluctuates.
holidays, yeah. And it does
Thanks to
fluctuate.
Corona, we've got less people.
Yeah,
but, you know.
but most came back and we kept them all. She was so impressed that we were able to keep our employees and keep them being paid, grow our online business,
Yeah.
which thank goodness for it.
Yeah.
Because when we couldn't come to the stores, we were doing phone orders, but honestly, it was touch and go. And
Cassie and Angela.
Cassie and Angela. Cassie is our internet, what do you call her?
E-commerce.
E-commerce manager, right. And
She's been with us for years,
yes.
and she is amazing. She uses every little inch so that she can fit more and more stock back there.
do you know what the girl said to me? She said, the reason you have employees that have stayed that long is you clearly care about them. And I said, oh my God, they're like my family. I told her about UAL babies, that we got Miranda's, and now Rosa, our treasurer from Honduras, is now having her baby. And Libby, yes, what a great employee.
I will say, UAL's aesthetic has changed very much, and Libby has a big part of
in
that.
it. She is our social media strategist. You know, nothing is more sustainable than liquidation, because we're there to buy excess inventory anytime, and there's always excess. There's always excess. The other thing that we do, the sustainability, is that we give these garments, this fashion, a longer life. They live again. They've been in a showroom, or they've been at a store that they were sold full price. That era, they've come out of that, and instead of going to I don't know, again, when you see things like landfills with all of these fast fashions just piling up because there's so much. No, we give them another life and more people to love them and more to love. And so that question was actually asked when, after the New York Times article, we got a call from Museum of Modern Art in New York, and they were doing an exhibition on fashion from, the United States. So it would be, probably going back to the 40s, but really just showing every era. Liquidation is like the ultimate recycler, At any rate, and that was the whole thing. They asked, is it sustainable? And I fumbled around a bit, but then I finally said, Liquidators were the original recyclers. Is that sustainable? What's next? Well, that's a good question, because here we are, we survived COVID. We have 9 locations now, brick and mortar, and a fully funded and functional online store. So what we are going to do now is continue to grow it in our own stores. And we need a little time to at least get through this year to rebuild. The momentum that we lost because of COVID, one of the things was that we didn't buy for 4 months. So we find ourselves understocked now for the business we want to do. So we're filling the stores every day, something new. And then coming soon to a city near you.